Welcome everybody to JC 2024. We are from the IMCD group, a global distributor for raw materials and specialty chemicals, and we are representing a business group called Advanced Materials. My name is Roland. I'm having the lead of the global task force for composite in our group.
Hello, everyone. My name is ANDERSSON. I'm head of sustainability for the Advanced Materials Group in IMCD. And the topic of today is about decomplexifying sustainability. Before we do that, I would like to spend some time talking about what sustainability is and what it's not. And the reason for this is that today the industry is talking about sustainability as an absolute. Like something is sustainable or it's not sustainable. And sustainability is not something new. We have had it for many, many tens of years, but this change has happened in the last, I would say, few years that this mega trend has really surfaced. So I think it's a good time to look at what sustainability means. And of course, sustainability at the company level, you can summarize it, it's everything that we try to do well. Like collecting ESG data, reporting on that, and also lowering our carbon footprint. But I will not go further, that's not the focus on this occasion. I would like to take the step to the materials and the processes. And this is really where we can see it is highly complex, even more complex than on the company level. And to show you this, I want to show you two examples to display a little bit what I mean here. If we would ask the general public and also the industry and showing them these two pictures here and ask them what they think and what their opinions are. On the pictures there is renewable energy and based off solar panels and windmills and also an EV car. Many of them or most of them would say, yes, these are sustainable. If we would then take away the images and hide the applications and only show the materials involved and ask the same general public what their opinion is, most of them or many of them would say no, not so sustainable because of the raw materials, fossil-based, etc. And this is the on and off button that as I call it. And something that we have to remember and realize is that everything that we create comes with a cost. Even the renewable energy sector here or the EV cars, they come with a cost. And sustainability is really to go from this place, this status, on a journey and make them better than they are today. And this is a little bit how you can summarize sustainability. It's a journey and a destination. And the destination, it's an old one, we all know it. It's about meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability for the future generations to meet their own needs. Right? We have all heard it. So that's the journey that we're on. Now, the next step would be then to really understand the status of today, meaning why do we use composite materials, some benefits and some challenges. So if we ask ourselves the question, why do we use composite materials? We all know they are very durable. That gives our products a long lifespan. They're also lightweight, enabling us lightweight constructions that gives us a CO2 reduction in the end. They're also very good in design flexibility, meaning that we could optimize the amount of materials in our design, meaning using less for the same purpose. And we have put circular, and we'll come to that a little bit later in the presentation. So some challenges as well. Of course, by far the biggest one, it is the limited recyclability we have. They're also quite energy intensive to produce. And the last one is the raw material sourcing. Many of the materials are still fossil based. And with limited recycling, this one becomes a much bigger problem. So now we have the basics to start to look at 3 different simple steps how to accelerate from today to the destination. And these are reduce, replace, and recycle. And I would say reduce, I'd rather say remove or delete. And you would be surprised on how many things we can remove from a product without hurting its efficiency or quality. And if we start to remove parts that we don't need, we reduce complexity. If we reduce complexity, we reduce CO2. To show you an example, and I know it's not the best picture in the world, but it's the one we have for today. I will guide you through what you see here. And to the left, you have Raptor 1. They both are rocket engines from a company called SpaceX. And to the left, you have the Raptor 1, and to the right, you have the Raptor 2, the latest version. And looking at Raptor 2, it almost looks like it's not finished, right? Not only is it finished, it's actually by a significant amount surpasses the efficiency of Raptor 1 as well in terms of thrust in this case. And by now, people here sitting are thinking, well, rocket engines is not really a part of our daily lives. But I wanted to take this example up because I want to also challenge a little bit. Because if they can make this change at peak engineering, building rocket engines, as complex thing as that, we can definitely do the same with products in our industry. Another example, I don't have the picture for it, but you have all experienced it. We always had it, we never needed it, but also we started to remove it. I'm talking about secondary packaging. Basically things wrapped twice or 3 times even. And the second step is about replacing your materials to alternatives. And with a lower carbon footprint. One very important note when you consider this one is that you should never sacrifice your quality or efficiency of your product when you're doing this. We don't want to create less durable products that breaks down before end of life because we want to do something for sustainability. That's not the right way. So the goal should be to have as good or better performance as today's solutions. One example here could be switching from glass fibers to flax fibers. And the third, and by far the most challenging step, is going circular. For the composite industry, this is the biggest challenge by far. However, things are really moving fast in this direction. With new innovations and new processes, we will be able to collect the waste, repurpose the waste, and then reintroduce that waste into our products. And this is a really good segue to Roland's proof of concept here.
Our industry, I think, has specifically done very well over the last decades to produce a lot of composite parts. We have been growing well above industrial growth rates, and I think we've already played an important role in the reducing and replacing part of our sustainability journey. I would even say in some of the areas we've been front runners in our industry, and some of the successes we see at the moment around the world is green energy would have been not possible without composite materials. But we're coming now to the stage where we need to think, what are we going to doing with the produced parts end of life and with the waste which we're having during production. We have produced all these composite parts and we have to be proud of. But I think we all need to agree that creating graveyards of composite materials is not a very clever and sustainable way for our generation, and that's not as well not for future generation. And we need to think differently. Currently, we even say we are recyclable when we just take the energy out of our materials end of life. The only problem on that example is we can only do it once, and circularity is over. So we need to have more future perspectives what we're going to do with our waste. Which actually brings me now to a project we are currently working on with a sanitary producer in our customer base. And actually the starting point of that project had nothing to do with circularity. The customer was contacting us because he was using a refilled resin system for a long time already for his acrylic backfilling. Working fine, but in certain areas of his production, he had issues where he would need to tweak the properties of the ready-filled resin system. So he came up with the idea, said, look, I want to bring the mixing of the pure resin with the filler back in-house to get, again, flexibility in my production process. And he was hoping to get, with that kind of project, as well, some savings in his production. So nothing with circularity. But during all this discussion, we found out with the customer that he has an issue with the recyclability of his production waste, the cut-offs of every single part produced in his factory. The cost of that has increased recently, and actually even the taking back of that material has become more and more difficult. So our account manager had the idea during the discussion, what if we make out of all your waste something we can reuse again in your production and you don't have to pay the disposal? So customers was very, very eager to jump on that idea, and he was ready to investigate if that is feasible for him or not. So the challenge was now, can we get out of this virgin waste a filler which has no influence on the resin system, curing behaviors, no negative impact on the workability, and consequently has no quality loss for the end customer when he's using a sanitary ware. Obviously, IMCD, as a distribution company of chemicals, is not a waste collection company, and we didn't have any experience in shredding waste or milling waste. But what we've had were industry contacts to approach that kind of task. And we've been very, very eager to do this with our contacts and the customer, because we really wanted to show that this proof of concept can work in our industry for our customer, and in the future, hopefully as well for other customers in our industry. Well, so basically we had the customer had the virgin waste, or has the virgin waste, which he was already shredding in his own factory to a 2-3 centimeter waste, because he needed to come down with the volume for this current disposal process already. So the first task for us was, can we find with our contacts a company who is able to mill shredded waste into a filler with a certain particle size, which we have defined with around 150 microns. You know, we've been able to find in our network a company of doing this, and is well ready to investigate, you know, with a plant, you know, to do some samples for us, you know, where we can work further with that filler. We received then a certain amount of this filler, where we then in our own application lab started to work on a formulation for the customer, because we needed to prove that there is no influence on the curing process, on the resin system, and on the workability, means the spraying of the acrylic backfilling. We've been able to prove and produce a part actually out of that filler, and actually the customer was able to prove as well from his side that there is no negative impact on the final product. Which means we are able to be in our industry 100% circular with our waste in production. We are able to save 100% of disposal cost of our waste, and consequently are able to produce a more sustainable product for the future. That is a proof of concept, you know, which we have to show to our industry, to our customers for the future. But I think what Dan has said already before, the replacing part in our industry, we're doing extremely well already over the last years. We're working with our customers already together on projects to produce railway panels or marine application sandwiches out of recycled PET foam instead of using PVC foam to reduce our CO2 footprint. We're producing, or our customers are producing with our help, composite parts out of flex fibers using a resin which end of life actually can be recycled again as a resin and doesn't have to be shredded or burned. So there are a lot of projects going on in the industry where we're showing already we are a front runner in our sustainability journey.
And as a distributor, as Roland mentioned, we sit in the middle of two critical players in the chemical world. And this position gives us the unique advantage of considering the full picture of sustainability and also drive change across the value chain. To close the presentation today, I want to talk a little bit more about our sustainable solutions and explain what it is. And the overall goal with our sustainable solutions is to decomplexify sustainability and also guide our customers in their sustainability journey. And we want to make it very easy for our customers to explore sustainable alternatives. And to achieve this, we divided our portfolio into the 8 categories you see on screen. And second, we strongly believe that to be successful in sustainability, we need to collaborate and also openly share knowledge. Sustainability is, as you know, a very complex topic, but by working closely together and by sharing knowledge, we can make sure that we do everything that we can to make our customers do educated and responsible material choices. And for this, we have created a public knowledge center on our website, where we break down the different topics in the industry, not only in written form, but also in video format sometimes. And with this, I would like to say thank you very much for attending, and we hope to see you at our booth. We will also be joining this meeting point just outside and to the right. Both me and Roland will be there for a couple of minutes to answer your questions. If you scan the QR code, you'll see a very nice guy presenting sustainable solutions in a short 2-minute video as well. Thank you very much.